Hello people, so welcome back to the channel. Thought I'd do a update on the little Red Sea Max Nano. Haven't done an update for a while because it's been the summer holidays and been busy with the family and stuff. So this will be the official 8 months update from the very start. Time's gone quick, 8 months since we started this tank up and set it up. And if you've been following the videos, you'll know that in the last update or video footage of this tank I showed you I was having issues with nutrients and the whole tank was starving out. Now this was simply because I was just being too religious with my maintenance program. Well, my maintenance program was just far too strict. The nutrients in the tank, I'd always struggled with getting a reading of nitrate or phosphate, and it showed itself up with the corals just paling right out, sort of bleaching out, and the growth started to diminish. I thought, we've got some problems here we need to correct. The nutrients need to be increased. So all I did is I stopped my 30% water changes that I did every week. I changed my 100 micron filter socks that I used to change out daily over to a 225 micron sock that you get stock with the tank, and just basically letting it overflow sort of every 4 or 5 days, changing it, not being sort of religious with cleaning my skim cup, and adjusting the skimmer so that it would skim a little bit drier, because the skimmer that comes with these tanks is quite a large skimmer, body size to the size of the tank, and it does skim quite wet, so it's a very efficient skimmer. So yeah, I tweaked that so it wasn't skimming quite so efficiently. And the main thing I did was introduce another fish. There's obviously a low bioload on this tank, just a couple of clownfish and that azure damsel. So what I decided to do is obviously up the bioload by putting another fish in. So I added a Midas blenny, quite a large mature Midas blenny, to the system, upped the feeding, and also started using reefroids every sort of 2 or 3 days, and maybe the odd occasional brine shrimp, cube of brine shrimp as well. So just feeding heavier, and just generally backing off on the hardcore maintenance routine that I had in place for the tank. Is up the nutrients. I still struggle to get readings of phosphate and nitrate, but because there's so much more, say, nutrients kicking around in the system, it's made a massive difference. All the corals have coloured back up again and started to regrow. I think that's a combination of the alkalinity being very stable now as well. I'm starting to fine tune that right in, and it's much more stable. The first few months of this tank was very hard to keep the alkalinity stable. The other thing as well is that the biological media that I'm using in the rear sump of this system, the Biohome Ultimate Marine, that started to kick in and started to create a full cycle now. So obviously converting nitrate into nitrogen gas. And also I think the large colonies of pulse coral and GSP that I've got in here really do suck down a lot of nutrients as well to grow. So it's a case of just feeding the tank really heavy has turned things right round. I have recently done a sort of 90% water change just to replenish all the trace elements, but it hasn't really had any effect of going back to starvation mode again, because obviously the new fish going in and the heavier feeding, it's enough for the corals to get what they need. So the tank is now, I'm really happy with the way it's going. It's really starting to take off now. We're starting to get coralline populating on the rear glass and the top overflow and all around the pumps. So it's a good sign that the tank is into its groove, should I say, and I think it's going to start taking off now. I've paused with adding any more coral frags in here simply because I needed to get this little system stable before I sort of start spending lots of money on coral frags. But yeah, I have added one extra one. I've decided to go down the road of introducing maybe a couple of frags of LPS corals into here. So I've started off with a Duncan coral, as you can see on the screen now. I'm doing a voiceover actually on this video. It's the first time I've done it, so hopefully it comes out well. But yeah, as you can see on the video now, actually this is footage of the Midas Blenny that I've added in. It's quite a large one. He's really camera shy, so this is a bit of footage that I've added into this video afterwards, because he seems to know when I shut the curtains to block the light out for the video and you get the camera tripod out, he shoots away and just doesn't come out. So I had to do this sort of after the video when he's sort of trick him into coming out. But yeah, he's a nice specimen, great character. I name him Smiler because he's got a big smiley beak. I had my reservations actually of putting him in there because the Azure Damsel that I've been trying to get out, I'll give up with in the end. I thought the Azure Damsel is going to cause havoc when a new fish goes in, but it's been the opposite actually. As you can see there, he actually really puts him in his place, which is fantastic. He's now leaving the clowns alone, and he doesn't pick on the shrimp much now neither. It's weird, the dynamics, how the dynamics of a tank can change so much by just adding another fish in. But I say it's a gamble, but it's really paid off well. Obviously he's upped the nutrients as well, which is fantastic. Yeah, great little fish. Probably borderline on being too big for this tank, to be honest. But you know, at the end of the year I might go a little bit big on the tank size, but that's another story which I'll go into on another video. So yeah, back to the tank. It's been, you know, quite tricky to get this tank to the stage where I'm comfortable with it. We're adding, you know, new coral frags, but it seems to be at that stage now where I think we can start adding some more sort of SPS corals, maybe some more LPS, some hammers, some torch coral, etc. To it. But yeah, it's a case of you know, persevering with it, and you know, just making little changes as and when they come up. You know, any problems that come up, just making little changes, and then just waiting that 2-3 weeks or whatever to see how much of a change whatever you changed has had an effect. It's just, you know, you have to be very, very patient. This is the Duncan coral on screen now. It's a really nice kind with the green fleshy stalk, and you can see there I've got some new heads popping out, which I'm chuffed about. Within a week or two of it going in, these new heads erupted around the base, so that's obviously happy and quite settled. It eats loads of this. I feed it spectrum pellets and reefroids. So all the other corals have coloured up really well. So they were really pale. That green barley slimer in the centre virtually went completely white, and it's bounced back. Can't believe how quickly it's bounced back actually. So all the other corals are doing really good. Purple stylo starting to erupt new heads. On the top, my GSP on the back wall has really grown. It's starting to really take off now, and I think it's just overlapping onto the top plastic rim now, whereas a few weeks back it was way down. It's already grown on probably a couple of centimetres in about 3 weeks. So it looks it's low flow at the moment. I've turned the flow down to try and get the Midas Blenny out, but so it looks really good in the high flow. Look at all the coralline encrusting starting to spot up on the back all over the power heads, and you're getting a tiny bit. The rock's taken ages actually to get coralline on it. You get a couple of spots here and there on it now, which is a good sign. There's quite a bit of hair algae actually on the rocks, because I lent my Mexican turbos now to my son to try and clear a macro algae up in his tank. So see, the algae's sort of had chance to sort of grow quite a bit, but now I've put it back in. They should clear it up over the next week. Green hystrix, that was near enough dead, all white now. It's all coming back with new tips. So I'm really happy with the way the corals have bounced back. That's the back on the top left there. You can see my red digitata. That's grown loads. fresh white tips coming out on it. So it looks so much better to the naked eye than on camera. I have got a filter on the lens, actually, on the camera lens from D&D, just to take some of the blue out, the washed out blue from when you're filming. But yeah, say to the naked eye, the tank looks so much better. Little frag of GSP there. It's a lovely GSP I've got in the tank. The pulse coral, that's just gone mad. I fragged it so many times. I've actually sold some off to a few people. So my son's got loads as well, and he's making frags. It's a lovely coral. It just does grow so quick. You just have to keep an eye on it and keep on top of it. Annoyingly, you have to when you sort of chop bits off, you have to throw it away because you can't sell it quick enough really. It's annoying, but so you have to keep on top of it, because I have got a few little buds of it coming up on the main rock, which I just toothbrush off when I see them. Top down view, just turn the flow off. So I'm keeping my parameters quite stable now, alkalinity being the main one, and I've raised that up to sort of 11.5-ish to match the Coral Pro, Red Sea Coral Pro salt I'm using. So when I do a water change, whenever I do want to do a water change, it's of the same alkalinity. So I can do anything from a 10% up to a 90-95% water change on this system, and it has no effect on the corals. They don't get moody or pissed off or anything, because obviously the alkalinity is the main one. You can match that up, the temperature and the salinity. You're replacing all the trace elements all back into the system. So yeah, I've got a good I haven't got a routine of what I'm going to be doing water change on the system yet. I'm just going to keep an eye on the nitrates and the phosphates. Nitrates are currently at 1 ppm, which is great. So I struggled to get a reading of nitrate, and say they're at 1 at the moment. And if they increase to, so they go up to sort of 3, 4, 5, 6, then I should do a water change. I should control my water changes to whatever the nutrient level is, the excess nutrient level. But I think this Biohome Ultimate Marine that I've got in the back, I think it's about 2 kilograms I've got in the back. It's quite a bit. That's definitely creating a full cycle. It's the combination of quite a bit of GSP, a lot of pulse coral, and the Biohome kicking in now. The system's 8 months. So that's why I'm not getting much excess nitrate. Phosphate. I think the phosphate as well has helped the New Life Spectrum probiotics food that I use. I predominantly use that as the sole food really. Occasionally I might put some brine shrimp in, but it's I think that's got a good reason. Reason why the phosphates are so low as well, because it consumes a lot of phosphates in the system as well. Certain makeup of that food I use to put it, to make it. Rear sump skimmer, awesome skimmer. It takes out loads of crap. Almost too efficient sometimes, as I've mentioned. Dosing rack, ATO, denture probe. And if anybody's got any queries of how I run the skimmer, what height to run the skimmer at the moment, it's currently, the gate is sort of level with the top of the body of the skimmer. So that's quite a wettish skim. So it fills the cup probably halfway in about 4 or 5 days. But yeah, overall it's going really well now. I say it's starting to get into its groove, the tank. So it's taken a while with this one. And I think it's because I used this real reef rock. It's dead. It's got nothing on it. If you start a tank off with live rock, you've got that big head start. So I think that's why this tank's taken a while. Obviously the size of it as well. It's they're very unstable, these tanks. The first 6 months of these tanks, these little nanos, can be very very unstable. So if you can use live rock, it's all better. Then there's the cabinet here, my big ATO tank at the back with the doser on top, and the 3-chamber dosing system. The doser is made by TMC. Brilliant doser, really reliable. Recommend it to anyone. I'm only running 2 lines. The magnesium I just check it weekly. If it needs to dose, I just manually dose it by pushing the button on the doser. Not using the coral colours at all. As you can see down the bottom there, the 4 containers in the middle, not using them. So I can do a 90% water change and replace all the elements virtually in one hit. Because you don't really know, unless you're testing all these different parameters, you don't really know what your levels are at. So I backed off of that as well, just in case that was causing an issue. But yeah, overall, we're back on track. As I say, I mentioned earlier, I might be looking into doing a bit of an upgrade towards the end of the year. I know my son is thinking about it. We're not sure what to yet, but to say that's a separate subject, which I'll go into another time. So if you're new to the channel, give us a obviously subscribe, give us a like if you enjoyed the video. Any comments, I'll try and comment, reply to your comments the best I can, but I get so many comments so it's quite hard sometimes. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.